Released in 2023, deck build pack Valence Smashers introduced 3 new archetypes to the Yugioh OCG. While Centurion saw minor success, the other 2 archetypes introduced failed to make any sort of impact. Memento in particular was especially disappointing. An archetype full of retrains of classic monsters that somehow managed to be just as unplayable. Luckily, the support released since then seems to have brought the deck to some level of playability. But the question still remains, can Memento hold its own in the current format? To start off with the boss monster of the deck, Memento, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, Combined Creation. This monster cannot be normal summon or set, and can only be special summoned from the hand or graveyard by shuffling 5 other Memento monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard into the deck. If your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon a Memento monster from your hand or graveyard, and while it's the only monster you control, you can also attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, which considering its 5000 attack, can often end games on its own. While on paper, Combined Creation may seem like just another dumb beater, which it is, many of our effects require us to control it. And so, our main goal with Mementos is going to be filling the graveyard to summon Combined Creation. Luckily, we're well equipped to do so. Firstly, we have our ideal normal summon and starter, Memento Darkblade, a level 4 warrior which when normal special summon can discard a Memento card to target and destroy a spell or trap. But the more important effect on this card is that during your main phase, it can destroy a Memento monster you control to special summon a level 3 or lower Memento monster from your deck. More often than not, this is going to be Memento Anguish, a level 3 spellcaster that when normal special summon searches a Memento monster. During your main phase, it can also destroy a Memento monster we control to special summon a level 2 or lower Memento monster from our graveyard, which is essential to many of our combos. Next, we have Memento Tatsunoshigo, a level 5 beast that can special summon itself from your hand if you control no monsters or only Memento monsters. During your main phase, it can destroy a Memento monster you control to send Memento monsters with different names from your deck whose total levels are equal to or less than the level of the monster destroyed. This is arguably the most important card in the deck, being both our best extender as well as a decent starter, usually destroying itself to send 3 monsters to the graveyard, which including itself gets us almost all the way to summon Combined Creation by itself. One of these monsters that will usually be sending with Tatsunoshigo is Memento Gatek. This level 2 fiend can special summon itself when sent to the graveyard by a Memento monster's effect, and when normal special summon allows us to target and add a Memento card from our graveyard to our hand. This gives us a free body as well as some recursion, which is much appreciated. The other 2 monsters are both level 1s, Memento Mace and Memento Goblin. Mace can destroy a Memento monster you control to search for a Memento card, and if you control Combined Creation, can be discarded from your hand during the opponent's main phase to target and take control of a monster until the end of the turn. Similarly, Goblin can destroy a Memento monster you control to send 2 Memento cards with different names from your deck to the graveyard. And like Mace, if you control Combined Creation, it can be discarded during your opponent's main phase to prevent your opponent from targeting Memento monsters you control with card effects for the rest of the turn. Both of these monsters are essential pieces in our combo, and Mace is also a key interruption while Goblin provides us with some much needed protection. Lastly, we have Memento Horned Dragon, which can special summon itself from your hand if you have 3 or more Memento monsters with different names in your graveyard. If destroyed, it can also target and destroy 3 cards on the field, but one of them has to be a Memento card that you control. The destruction effect can sometimes come up, but we really only need Horned Dragon for its ability to be more or less a free extender. Finally, to help us go second, we run a good amount of hand traps. Trust me, this deck really needs the help going second. For spells and traps, we have some good ones. Firstly, we have our fail spell, Mementotlan. It prevents your opponents from activating spells or traps when your Memento monster battles, and if a Memento monster you control is destroyed, it can special summon a Memento monster with a lower level from your hand or graveyard. Finally, during your end phase, it can send a Memento spell or trap from your graveyard, helping us in the grind game. We also have the quick play spell Memento Bone Party, which destroys a Memento monster in your hand or field to either add a Memento monster from your deck to your hand or special summon in defense position. And it also has a grave effect to banish itself and give a Memento monster we control piercing. Our last Memento spell is the newest addition to the deck, Memento Fusion, a quick play spell that fuses from hand or field, but if a monster you control is destroyed this turn, it can also fuse by shuffling materials from the graveyard into the deck. In addition, it can also banish itself from the graveyard to destroy a monster we control and add a Memento spell or trap from our deck to our hand. Memento Fusion is just a great fusion spell, allowing us to get into our fusions for almost free, and it's one of our only 2 ways to search our back row, making it core to our deck success. Finally, we have reinforcement of the army, as well as our anti-hand trap package. For traps, we have infinite impermanences, as well as our 2 interruption traps, Memento Fracture Dance and Memento Cranium Burst. Fracture Dance is a normal trap that if you control a Memento monster, lets you target and destroy a card on the field. Then if you control Combined Creation, can destroy an additional card. It can also banish itself from the graveyard when a Memento monster battles to make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1000 attack for the rest of the turn. Notably, this is the only interruption Memento has that doesn't require you to control Combined Creation, making it important for all setups when interrupted. Cranium Burst, on the other hand, is a continuous trap that forces your opponent to attack the Memento monster with the highest attack. More importantly, if your opponent activates a monster effect on the field while you control Combined Creation, it allows you to target a Combined Creation you control and reduce its attack and defense by exactly 1000 each, to negate the activated effect. Notably, this effect isn't once per turn, but rather once per chain, meaning that it can negate up to 5 times in a single turn if needed. Along with Memento Mace, these traps make up the backbone of Memento's interruption, and we'll be looking to set up as many of them as possible. As for our extra deck, we have our new fusion monster, Memento Twin Dragon, which requires 2 Memento monsters to fusion summon. While we control it, any monster destroyed by battle of our Memento monsters is banished, and if it is fusion summoned, it can destroy a Memento monster in our hand or field to add 2 Memento monsters with different names from our deck to our hand. Additionally, if this fusion summon card is destroyed, such as through Memento Fusion's grave effect or even its own effect, it can special summon a level 6 or lower Memento monster from our graveyard. Even standalone, Twin Dragon would function as fantastic setup, but paired with our Great Fusion spell, it's often the difference between being able to summon Combined Creation or not. For the rest of our extra deck, we mostly run generic Link monsters. We of course have IP Masquerena and SP Little Knight for interruption, but Little Knight notably also has the added utility of being able to reset the attack of our Combined Creation. Apart from that, we also have Dark and Celine, who can special summon our Anguish from the graveyard to help us climb into Access Code Talker, helping us end games. Well, Memento certainly is one of the decks of all time. The deck is extremely consistent and the cards are strong on paper, but nothing actually does anything besides combine creation. This leads to a pretty linear style of play where the deck lives or dies on whether you can summon it. While the interruptions of the deck are pretty strong, most of them requiring you to control combined creation means that the deck usually folds if your opponent can find a way to remove it. And since Memento only really has Goblin as protection, it's easier than you'd hope. And all of this isn't even considering the issues Memento has going second. The deck already struggles to play through interaction when going first, but going second can be an actual nightmare. All in all, even after the support, Memento definitely still isn't good, but it's fun and occasionally it can pull out some wins.